Welcome to The Real Deal, where it's all about businesses in central Massachusetts and northeastern Connecticut. And now, your host, Anthony Shabbat of Shabbat & Associates.
Hi, everybody. I'm Anthony Shabbat from Shabbat & Associates, and welcome to the Real Deal Business Podcast. This is the first episode. I'm here with Barry Jessurun, restaurateur and co-owner,
yeah.
Green Valley Hospitality. Welcome to the show, Barry.
Great. Thanks for having me here. This is great.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to have you. So, why don't you take a minute and tell us all about all of the things you do?
Sure. Well, Green Valley Hospitality is a company that was formed to oversee the restaurants that we own in the northeastern part of Connecticut. The first one we opened back in 1989 is the Vanilla Bean Cafe, which many people I'm sure have heard of. It does breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and live music, and it's a great place in the summertime. You see a lot of road enthusiasts and motorcycles.
Love the Vanilla Bean. Love it.
And then 85 Main, which has now been open since 2005, right here in Putnam. It's been a help with Putnam's downtown resurgence, along with the other businesses in town, has helped to make Putnam a destination.
Oh, definitely. 85 Main is one of the most awesome places in northeastern Connecticut, for sure.
And then the other restaurant is Dog Lane Cafe, that's down by the University of Connecticut in Storrs. That opened in 2012. And we are in the process of opening our fourth location in Mansfield, Connecticut, down by Eastern Connecticut State University. That's called Fenton River Grill, and that should be open in March of 2018.
Excellent. Fenton River Grill. I haven't heard too much about that. Just a little bit of people mentioning a little bit about it in the background, but they haven't gotten into detail about it. Is there anything you can share about that?
Well, it's a new American kind of restaurant. It's not going to be the reach culinarily like 85 Main is. 85 Main is a very chef-driven restaurant. Down in that area, between two universities, we wanted to be a little more broader reach. A way I describe it, it's kind of odd, but it's an upscale Applebee's. Nice environment, neighborhood bar and grill type of thing, but with high quality food.
Okay, excellent. Well, I'm interested to see when grand opening is going to be scheduled and announced, and I'll definitely be there to check it out as soon as possible.
Yeah, of course, you can always find out about that on our Facebook page.
Facebook, it's definitely the best place to learn about anything as far as I'm concerned nowadays. Everything is on Facebook. It's pretty much, from my perspective, it's pretty much taken over the entire internet.
Yeah, I've recently started posting all our entertainment as events on there at the Vanilla Bean. Customers are coming and telling me looking for it, so I'm like, I guess I got to start doing that. So.
When I go out on the weekend, when I have my kids every other weekend, and when I don't have my kids, I have to admit one of the first things I do is look on Friday night and see what are the events for the weekend that I can kind of plan on what's going on, because where else are you going to find out what's going on for nightlife in northeastern Connecticut and central Massachusetts? It's always
right, and you find out what's going on right in your area. You find out what's going on that your friends are going to. It might be interest to you also. So yes. I think that's very cool. Find out what my daughter's up to.
So one of the things that I want to do on this podcast, and this is a great opportunity for me because for a long time I've wanted to be able to talk to people and that are successful in business and ask them to tell me about a brief summary of their entire life history in their business and just kind of like go over everything that they can think of telling me about what they've done briefly. You don't want to like take hours because we don't have a heck of a lot of time, but if you could give us a brief overview of everything that you've done within reason, and then at the end of it, tell us some things that maybe some advice that you could give to people that are just starting out in the industry. I love this idea because I think there are so many people that have so much wisdom out there that never have a way to tell people what they would recommend. What was the one thing that you did that really made a huge difference in your business when it really just hockey stick, just went through the roof and things went gangbusters? Was there one particular time or were there multiple times, that kind of stuff?
No, I don't know how to answer that particular question that way, but I will tell you that when you go somewhere and the business is running well, they make it look easy, just like any professional, sports, what have you. And the problem with a lot of businesses, restaurants in particular, is people look and see some great place and they go, wow, I want a place just like that. Look how easy it is to run. And the professionals make it look easy.
Right.
And the problem is, it's not. it's many moving parts in the restaurant business. It's not just the hospitality business. It's also a small manufacturing business, and you're manufacturing a perishable product. So it's not like, if you order too many widgets, you'll just use them on the next run 3 or 4 weeks from now. It's a whole different thing. So a lot of people look at it from the outside and think, oh, I can do that, without really having the necessary knowledge to go ahead and do it. So really, what it takes is embodied knowledge. And to get embodied knowledge, it's practice. And the best way to do that is work for somebody else. So one of the things that I learned early on was that I can make mistakes at somebody else's dime. Like if I started younger than I was, right, then I'd be learning more on the job, and my mistakes would cost me money. Mm-hmm. Whereas I could go and work for other people, get into, positions of management, and explore different ideas and options. And if I made a mistake, it wasn't that costly to me, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you want to get your education on someone else's dime.
Right.
That's crucial, and get the education you need for whatever business you're trying to get to. Don't just look out on the outside and say, I can do that. It's really a good idea to go and actually work in it for somebody else for a little while to see if it's really what you want to do.
Definitely, yeah. That sounds like some pretty sound advice, I'm sure. Somebody that's been through as much as you have with all the restaurants and experience that you have, that's definitely a great piece of advice right there. What was the first restaurant that you started with?
So the Vanilla Bean opened in 1989. We opened with a 16-seat cafe with a couple of tables outside. We opened it in Pomfret, Connecticut, a small little town. At that time, it probably had 3,000 people. And we opened it for my sister to run, and we had no intention of staying with it and growing it. And, it was just a thing to do for her. And I certainly wasn't going to stay in Northeastern Connecticut.
That's interesting because I actually graduated Woodstock Academy in 1990, and I could have sworn that Vanilla Bean was just a thing that had always been around. And when I heard about it, I just figured it always existed. I didn't know that it just started a year before I graduated high school.
Yeah, well, that's part of the things we always try and do when we open a restaurant. We try and make it look like it's been there for a while. We don't like it new and shiny. We like to put in stuff. I mean, the Bean itself was built into an old barn, and all we did was embrace the old barn nature.
That's what I was going to ask you. What was it before it was the Vanilla Bean? It was just a barn on the corner of 44 and...
It was actually, its history was, it was a barn up until the 1970s, and then some people made it into a flower shop called the Pomfret Floral Barn. They sold it to some people that made it into a little gift shop called Wits End. We bought it from them in 87, and then in 89 we managed to open the Bean. But they never did anything to the barn structure, the nature of it being a barn. When we did our reconstruction efforts, we had to, we were taking out hay and horse crap. That they never got to. They just put some barn board up and tried to make it look pretty. Whereas we had to do a total gut and redo, and all new sheetrock, all new electrical, all new heating. It was a lot.
Well, the Vanilla Bean's definitely seen a huge amount of success over the years. I do remember seeing something on the wall in the Vanilla Bean, and it was on a Coca-Cola event that happened a long time ago. I forget, it was it
was May 8th, 2002. Very easy for me to remember. We were selected to be the national launch site of Vanilla Coke when they decided to release that product. And it was great. Lots of pomp and circumstance. People from all over the place. The schools bust their kids up to experience it. There was, I don't know how many people. I mean, because basically the whole parking lot was closed because it was full of satellite trucks and media, and there was stages set up, and it was a great event.
It looked like a huge event. I wasn't there, unfortunately. I noticed it after I saw it on the wall. The frame.
Yeah, but what got us in that was the fact that we were an integral business, right? So when they were doing their research to find out where they wanted to launch Vanilla Coke with whatever backstory the person who was in charge had, he came across the Vanilla Bean Cafe, and it was fitting in with whatever his story was. We had the live music. It was, back to America's roots and things like that, when Vanilla Coke was what it was back in the 50s or so. And then they checked with the local Coca-Cola company, who sang our praises.
Oh, yeah.
Because, they're a great company, great family, blah, 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 right?
I know people from miles that come to the Vanilla Bean, especially motorcyclists from central Massachusetts.
Yeah.
It's famous out, and it's one of the only things that people know about in Northeastern. Downtown Putnam for antiques, and the Vanilla Bean for Route 44 motorcycle rides.
Yeah. So they looked at it, and we were family owned, we were quality oriented, we were community oriented, and that fit into what the people from Coke were looking for. They met with us, said what they wanted to do, and we're like, yeah, go ahead, let's do it. It's
a great atmosphere that you guys have going over there. So, can you tell us a little bit about 85 Main and some of your other restaurants? We probably have to pick up the pace a little bit, just because we have to get to the other the other stuff that
The
we're
other
going to
stuff,
get
good
to.
stuff.
Yeah.
Being in the business here in the late 80s and early 90s, we learned from our customer base what was missing in the northeastern part of Connecticut. As you remember, there was a lot of pizza joints, one or two upscale restaurants, and really nothing in the middle. And so what people were telling us was they were driving to West Hartford and driving to Providence and driving to Worcester for a quality dining experience where they could have a full menu, a full bar with liquor license, and full service, which is none of what the Bean was doing and certainly wasn't in the plan to do. So we started exploring around looking for a way and a place and with who to do that. And long story short, we knew Lisa when she owned the Vine. We knew James because he worked for us, James Martin, our partner here at 85 Main.
Yeah.
We got them together. She wanted to sell, he wanted to get into the business, and we helped make it happen.
I remember Lisa. I actually had her on when I started Real Estate TV a long time ago. I think it was about 2004, right around there. I had a lot of local business owners on the Real Estate TV show that did just a local TV show. And I remember she did this is Lisa Cassateri, right?
Cassateri, yeah.
From the Vine Bistro in Putnam, Connecticut, and you're watching Real Estate TV. I remember.
Yeah. She went out on a limb in Putnam. I mean, she was, people,
it was great.
People were spending over $30 in Putnam in the 1990s. At an upscale white restaurant. That was gutsy of her. And she did it for 10 years, but it was too much. It was taking too much of her time, and she wanted to get out. So we did that. Basically we listened to the customer. And that's how Dog Lane came about in stores.
And you completely renovated 85.
Oh yeah, it was a total gut and redo. I mean, when we took over the business, we took over the location and the fact that people were used to coming here spending $30 a piece. That we were, and we liked the main street idea.
Man. Downtown Putnam is so great.
That's what we wanted to help come alive again. And it went beyond what we expected, really. What Putnam ended up becoming. We ran those oyster festivals for 4 years in a row. Those were great, but
really good.
But that was too much liability. We didn't want to keep doing that.
Some of the biggest events, I think probably the biggest events in downtown Putnam back then, before First Fridays.
Yeah, the last one we did, there was over 4,000 people came to it.
Yeah, that was huge. And now with the Putnam Business Association and First Fridays and the Fire and Ice Festival. And
that business association, is doing phenomenal. People from other areas, they want to be like Putnam. Other people from other towns come in and they visit with the dignitaries in town, but it's really the association that made this happen. And it's the individual business owners here on the street and around that are on the association.
Oh, yeah.
They're the people who make it happen. I mean, Fire and Ice was started by Dave and Christina at Victoria Station.
Right, yeah.
So, and then it went on to the Putnam Business Association. But it's a strong business association that really makes the downtown. And the town government itself kind of has to get out of the way and support it and not fight it. Like, we had to fight to put the patio in.
Out in the front.
Oh, yeah, they weren't going to let us.
Addition, yeah.
And eventually they came around to seeing that they should let us do it.
That's the best thing. From what I remember, 85 Main coming in was huge, and then when Victoria Station moved from where Bella's just was, and now it's on the corner, they renovated that place completely, and then the patios went out in the front, and it was like Putnam was a brand new place.
Yeah, and it was them moving to that location that made the patio possible, because now we had a compatible business next door who would be willing to have a patio in front of theirs as well. So we were able to take all 5 parking spaces there and turn it into patio for our businesses and for Putnam.
Huge.
Yeah, it was great.
And now across the street from 85 Main at 88 Main, the new building's been completely renovated, and next door it looks like it's going to be renovated.
Yeah, we should be seeing something there soon. The guy who's the owner of that, he'll certainly get it done, and we'll see more changes happening in Putnam. And hopefully people still keep investing in the town, and I mean, Chickering's been bought, and it's it's closed right now. It'll be renovated. That's going to be cool. So yeah, Putnam is a great spot. Probably 20 years ago, I referred to Putnam as a mini Northampton. Because of where it's located. So many people can get to it from so many areas, and living here, it's easy to get to a lot of places.
It is right between Worcester and the casinos, and Providence and Hartford.
Yeah, and not far from Boston. A lot of people day trip down here from the Boston area.
Oh, definitely. Well, one of the ways that I like to describe downtown Putnam, if people haven't been there before, is it's kind of like a Shrewsbury Street in Worcester of northeastern Connecticut. It's kind of like the food court of northeastern Connecticut. It's the place that it's like the city of northeastern Connecticut, where everybody likes to go, in just a walkable downtown area. Also similar to Federal Hill and Providence in some ways. It's like a mini version of Federal Hill, but it's around here
in a country town with a river and a river walk
and the river trail and the band, the performance center and Rotary Park down there. Putnam is just such an amazing place.
Our own radio station that promotes the hell out of it.
You're not kidding.
Gary O at WNY.
Gary O and Karen.
Man.
You can't beat them. So many great things going on in Putnam. So let's get into the Dog Lane.
Yeah, Dog Lane was again a response to our customers saying, you got to open something like the Beam down in stores. It's a culinary wasteland.
So what exactly is Dog Lane? I've been in there a couple of times, but what type of is it a restaurant?
So it's designed like the Vanilla Bean. It's a cafe. It's an order at the counter kind of thing. I call it a European cafe because a lot of you'd order at the bar and they deliver food to your table.
Yeah, and it's a great location at Yukon.
And you pay when you order. But high quality hand prepared food. But yeah, it's an urban style cafe, which you'd expect to find, in a city somewhere.
Right next to the Performance Center with the grass.
Right across the street.
Yeah, it's an excellent location right there.
And it does very well. It's what people wanted down there, and we filled the niche.
And tell us a little bit about the new venture that you're.
Yeah, so again, listening to the customer, they're telling us what they need and what's missing and what they'd like to see. And we didn't do it at Dog Lane. Some of us wanted to do an 85 Main there, and we're like, that's not what we want to do. That's not what I think is needed right now.
What is the typical price range of a meal over at Dog Lane? Is it what type
lunch is going to be $15
per person?
Pretty much. I mean, that's kind of what.
Obviously, yeah. You can't do lunch for two people for $15.
No, yeah. I mean, it's just inflation. It does that.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're going to get a high quality, hand prepared, made to order food item, and someone's going to make it for you, and they're going to clean up after you leave, and all of that, that's what it costs.
Yeah.
If you're going to go buy it at 7-Eleven, that's it. You're not paying for the place to sit. You're not paying for the people to clean up after you and all that. It's all made somewhere else. So yeah, you can get your sandwich for $6.
Right. Actually, and we should also get back to 85 Main just briefly and talk about the happy hour that you have on Wednesdays from 4 to 6. The $1 oysters. I've never seen that anywhere before.
Oh, it's a thing. A lot of oyster bars do it all over the country. They definitely do.
I'm not a big oyster guy.
Yeah.
So I didn't know much about it.
Yeah. So you definitely see it. Almost every oyster bar I know does it.
Normally $3 each or something.
Yeah, Tuesday we have $3. Almost all are $3 now. And they're expensive. They're heavy. They take up space. They got to be refrigerated. They got to be on ice. I mean, that's the cost of moving them from place to place. That's what makes oysters cost so much money. If you buy canned oysters or shucked oysters, it's cheaper because you're not paying for all the weight and ice and refrigeration and everything that goes along with a real live, fresh oyster. So, yeah, they're $3 a piece.
I just wanted to finish that off before we got into the new venture that you're talking about. I can't even remember the name of the place that you just mentioned.
Well, it's still new. We're calling it Fenton River Grill.
What is it again? Sorry.
Fenton River. The Fenton River is the river that runs north to south right through Mansfield. It is in the town of Mansfield. And it dumps out in the Natchwag Reservoir, which is pretty much across the street from where we're located.
Okay.
We like to name things so that you don't quite always know what they are. It's when it's not a fish house, it's not a steak house, it's not. You kind of got to check it out. You can't write it off right away because I don't eat fish or I don't like steak or whatever. And we like to name them in a way that fits into the community that we're in.
So how does the new location, Fenton River Grill, compare to 85 Main, Vanilla Bean, Dog Lane? Right.
So it's a full-service restaurant. It's going to full bar. We're going to do a little more on the craft cocktail than we do here at 85 Main. We're going to have 20 beers on tap instead of like the 10 that we have at 85 Main. So we're going after the craft cocktail. The menu will have a lot of shareable items. So, you can go there with a group of people and just share a bunch of apps and have some beers.
My girlfriend and I do that everywhere we go. We'll have maybe, if we go out on a weekend, we'd like to have maybe one drink here, and maybe the next place we'll just have a soda or something like that, but maybe we'll have an appetizer at the next place, and then we'll go to another place, and after that, and just and drink responsibly, but at the same time, you get to go to a bunch of different places. You get to see all the people everywhere
and try a bunch of stuff.
How do you beat that?
No, it's awesome. I mean, the old way of eating, with a big hunk of meat on the plate and the side potato and the side of broccoli or whatever your vegetable is, that's all going away. The people who ate that way, they're not eating that way anymore. And the younger people, they want the variety. They want to be able to sit down and try. The fact that tapas is finally coming around. Spanish tapas is finally coming around. It's called American tapas now because Spanish tapas was the small little 4-inch plate.
I don't know much about the tapas at all. I haven't been to a tapas restaurant. I don't think ever in my life.
We don't have time to talk about it here, but definitely go and find a tapas restaurant and eat at it. They're awesome. They're just awesome stuff.
So, is there any piece of advice that you can give to somebody that's just starting out in the business? We already went over this, and this and learn on somebody else's.
Absolutely.
Work somewhere for somebody else and learn your mistakes when you're working with them.
And you need to research your market. You need to have a good idea of what your market is before you go there. The mistake I see a lot of people make is they go, "This is what I want to open." They go, "This is my story. This is what I want to open," and they're not paying attention to the market.
So pay attention to the market.
Yeah, because they'll open their thing, right? But it's not what that market wanted.
Okay.
And then they're not willing to change. They think, oh, they'll eventually get it. It's like, no, you always have to sell them what they want. You have to sell them what they're looking for, and then you slowly take them direction you want them to go.
That's great advice. That's an interesting way to look at things.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's how people are.
Yeah. You can't just
ram something new
tell
down
them
them.
how it's going to be.
Yeah. But they want burgers, you give them burgers. Now we lead them.
Right. That's a great idea.
And you do it with your specials, and you slowly change your menu. So the story is, if you've done it right, the restaurant you open isn't the same restaurant you have 5 years later.
Mm-hmm. So where can people get more information about you, Barry? And
Facebook. Well, the easiest thing, of course, to do is any of the restaurants are easy to find on Google. 85 Main, Vanilla Bean Cafe, Dog Lane Cafe, and Fenton River Grill. We are also under the one company name called Green Valley Hospitality, and that has a link to all the restaurants in that.
Is there anybody else that you wanted to mention as far as partners or
yeah, of course, because what makes it all work, James Martin is the managing partner here. He's the chef behind most of it, along with Jeff Hemmig. And then down at Dog Lane, there is Steve Smith, who is our managing partner there, who makes all that happen. At the Vanilla Bean, we have Kayla Murphy, who's the restaurant manager there, who's been with us a long time. And it's actually her knowledge and her abilities is what allows me to do what I get to do. Otherwise, I'd be there.
Yeah,
trying to help and run that place. But she has it all dialed in, and she does such a great job that I don't have to worry about it. I can, like today, I was down at the construction site, and I'm painting and staining and answering questions for people coming in, and answering questions for the construction guys while they're there. So instead of visiting for an hour or two here and there, I get to hang out all day and make sure stuff goes the way I want it to.
Did you already mention who's in charge of the Fenton River Grill?
Fenton River Grill is going to be Steve Smith, and we're bringing on Karen Grist, who's been with us here at 85 Main as an employee.
She's great.
And she's going to join us down there as part of the management team. And we're taking our head chef from Dog Lane, and the sous chef is stepping up to the head chef in Dog Lane, and he's going down. His name's Scott Friedrich. And the sous chef there was going to be Sean Hawkins. So it's a team. Let me tell you, I don't do this by myself.
That's a lot of work.
And it's trust. You have to trust the people around you. You have to extend the trust to them. And when you do that, they're going to give it back to you. You give them the tools they need to get the job done. If it costs a little more money, get it. Make sure they have it, and make sure they have the right people to work with. If they come and say, you know what, this person isn't working out, you got to listen to them, and you got to get rid of the people. I mean, the best corporations are always doing that. GE, they're always getting rid of the bottom 10% and continuing to hire. And we in the restaurant business, have to do that as well. It's the hospitality business. We have to have rock stars out front all the time, taking care of our guests and creating those experiences. We invest a lot of time in our staff. We try and create a place where they want to be. It's kind of funny, to think about it, but they're my first customer.
Right.
I need to create a place where they want to work.
Yeah.
And then when they come in and they can listen to and understand our story, like what's the story of the Vanilla Bean, what's the story of 85 Main, right? And understand it, and then live inside that story because they want to be there.
Right. Definitely.
It just makes it so much easier to do. But you've got to always, support your best people, and if you have to, get rid of some people at the bottom who aren't, pulling the line, or aren't, as they say, they're not a good fit. I mean, you've probably been a employee yourself somewhere where you go, gee, I don't really fit here.
Yeah.
Definitely. And because we work with a lot of young people, sometimes it's teaching them how to be okay with that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We just don't fire them. You know what I mean? It's got to be a mutual thing, and it's got to be beneficial for them.
Right.
Because we're always trying to help the young people that work for us. I mean, I mentioned to you, we put out a publication called Bean Soup. It's our entertainment page.
I've read it many times, yeah.
And we've rebranded it, and it's now under Green Valley Hospitality, and it lists all the other restaurants in it. And one of the articles I wrote there a year and a half ago was how we may look like a restaurant, but we're really a young person development agency. That we're helping these people become whoever they're going to become in the future. And our job is to help them do that. And what we get in the moment is somebody who's doing their best to take care of themselves in the future.
That's an excellent way to look at it. Yeah, I love that philosophy.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier.
It does. It makes it a lot more fun.
I don't have time to do all the work, and we want them to have fun. I mean, that's one of the things. My mantra when I was in my teens and early 20s was learn things and have fun. Mm-hmm. You can sacrifice one for the other. If you're not having fun, but you're learning a lot right now, that's great. And if you're having a lot of fun but you don't learn anything, you can do that too for a little while. But never ever sacrifice both, man. If you wake up one day and you're not having fun, you're not learning anything, it's time to go, stretch your wings and do something else.
I love that.
And then my main partner in all of this, and all this crime that we do, is my brother Brian, who's been with us since the beginning. He's a partner in all the restaurants. He's the guy that, a lot of times when you're in business, you're head down and butt up, and your blinders are on, and you're not seeing everything. And things go wrong, and you're missing it. You don't see the dead tree outside your business anymore. I mean, things like that. Mm-hmm. What he's able to do is be that person on the outside looking in. And are we doing what we say we're doing? Mm-hmm. Are we fulfilling where we say? Is the quality what we say it is, right? Does that wall need to be repainted? It's invisible to us. We walk by it every day.
Oh, yeah.
He's able to step outside and see that. The other thing he's really good at is really communicating with the guests, getting to know them on a one-on-one level when a lot of the other people, they're too busy. So you don't have that kind of time. And he's able to be out there and being hospitality, Mr. Hospitality, and also through that learning about what our guests are and what they're looking for, and helps us, shape the direction we're going to go as a company.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Barry, for being on the Real Deal Business Podcast. And it's an honor to have you on the show. And I really do appreciate you taking some time out of your day to talk to me and talk to everybody and give your story. So
no, it's great. I love doing this.
Oh, man, we gotta have you back.
I would do this again. I want a half hour next time. There's so many things that we do and the people who work for us do, and the individual stories that exist there. So yeah, absolutely, it's been great. Thank you very much.